So as you saw, we had a fantastic typewriter poet. And this typewriter poet is more than a typewriter poet, and they're going to be joining us up on stage with a guest to end the evening. So Christopher is a Miami native, entering his 5th year as a high school English teacher. He has typewriters and writes poetry. His poems have been published in the Holy Bible, the now defunct Dandy Bear Poetry Journal, and animatronic catalogs and in various Volvo manuals. Chris has published innumerable tomes of groundbreaking poetry, none of which survived the Great Fire in the Library of Alexandria. You can find his surviving work on his Instagram page at cjp.oetry on Instagram. Accompanying him will be Smoke Bomb Wizard, a New York native and event technician specialist. He has a guitar and writes songs. Adam has played guitar for over 20 years, and his musical career spans stints in bands, performances across the country, and an album on the way, with his single surfacing available on Spotify. He's a wizard. Catch him on Instagram at official Smoke Bomb Wizard. It is my pleasure to welcome up to the stage Christopher.
How's it going, guys? I think the train is receding into the distance. So, the poem I'm going to read right now, if you were at the Poems and Poetry last night, you heard me perform it, but sometimes I like to do some tinkerings with my friend Adam and see what happens when I put some music behind my words. Wait. Sorry, I gotta find an angle where I can see the words. This one is called Spam Dreams or Euthanasia. Do you have a can of Spam Dreams on your shelf, or are they in your cabinet? Your mother's? It ain't easy to daydream these days when Spam costs $4 a can. These are the days of dust and burning hinds. These are the baby and the bathwater days, and everything in the kitchen sink days, too. Wake me up on the 1st and the 15th. Have my coupons cut and my sweat-stained shirt collar steamed. Have my resume sheets with too much white space and too many white lies. Too many dead leaves wrung dry of potential, waiting for lightning to strike and scratch my itching lotto ticket. My stressed, flaking, male-patterned forest receding from my forehead before my buzzer is permitted to topple the last tree and bear my shame, my blow-away topsoil. Scalp me. Give me economic shock therapy. Remake me in the image of austerity. Price me out of mind. Discipline my poor impulse control. Prescribe to burn the contents of my skull for the sake of my creditors. Spark the squatting detritus of poorly planned thoughts to clean up my neighborhood. Commit holy arson. Raise my low-income thoughts. Exercise by flame to evict my unproductivity. Incarcerate and conscript my reserves of attention to put out my personal irresponsibility, ecological disaster. Clap closed the fence around my commons to plug the hemorrhaging of my burgeoning miser mind. Make me a prophet, blind beyond the borders of my private interest. See me pray in public, lending hands clasped piously around my luxury leather wheel, steering clear of scruples. The wilderness in my eye is sterile, but give me coins, and I will breed them like beasts. Do me all this before my bets on the home team take effect, before the online mobile house wins, they always do. Or do me in before I risk my limbs on a sure thing, bulletproof investing, fatal life-saving, anti-social security 401k, betting and basing myself on pixelated dot matrix numbers. Zip code, credit, crypto, square footage, saving, checking, student loan, APR, tickets, tolls, tax returns, years worth, tempting death, the IRS. AAA rated hell cake. Hold? For what? Why hold back? Futures? What future? Where? And while you're at it, Grab me my pack of ports, the flaccid pack, that lets my 20 pent-up frustrations get bent in my bag of tricks before I smoke them out of compulsion more than love, hardening my still lonely lungs. Spin the wheels of cancer. Just heard forever chemicals are in the rain. Lead is in the kiddos' lunch and perforate student bodies. Red lead paint chip deregulation is back by gerrymandered electoral college demand. Pay now and later for fast food on a touchscreen and triple heart bypass, the minimum waged, middle-aged middleman with a starter job, or 3, trying to feed his starter kids. He's a partner, not an employee. We're a family. He'll always be our little baby. And babies don't say naughty words like union, because that's a bad word, son, because that would be double stacked on good indeed. Take communion with a $20 value meal burger. It's mostly bread, a side of fries, extra ketchup is 50 cents, and a big old cherry wine. But refills are no longer. That privilege has been revoked because the machine has been bled dry by all you little bloodsuckers. You ungrateful little ingrates are all so damn cheap. Would you like to cast your charity ballot for an additional $1? Don't forget to tip. Good manners are your civic duty. 15, 20, 25%. Or skip the line. Conscript a dashing contract man from the convenience of your hand to go in your stead. Or a woman. She can bring her kids. There's a spot for everyone in the gig economy. What else is on your shelf? Your cabinet? The holes in my drawers outnumber the stars. I dream about falling through them. A tired, spotty mirror, a dull razor blade, toothbrush bristles faded and frayed, lolling fluorescents complaining, not today. Designer atomizers cap counterfeit bottles, soggy boxes, spritzing everywhere, coating new nose hairs that weren't there yesterday with the same synthetic patchouli man musk, the same you and the same her, if you're lucky, or if you're not. Drowning, the same cheap sex sponsors, the same mail order enhancement pills, and the same vodka seltzers. Organic intelligence looking for a job. I promise to sit and let you unload 6 rounds of interviews where you pretend I have a shot, where you pretend for weeks on end that the position isn't earmarked for the owner's son, where I pretend to enjoy advanced interrogation techniques. I promise I'm in it for the AI-generated company mission that means and matters a lot, and not the fact that I'm a perfectly uninsured wobble horse in America. One wrong pothole broke a leg hop skip away from gentle suggestions of voluntary euthanasia and a shared ride in a rideshare hearse to my final shift at the grind me into a fine paste factory. I promise not to wear my permanent wince, my exhausted voice, my desperate scent. I promise to plan my obsolescence, to manage my expectations, to shrinkflate my plastic esteem and guard it in the aisle with a plastic shield. Press the button to beg an associate to come unlock the case. They never do come. Things used to be in their place. Used to be free to grab for payment. Where can I pay top dollar for some top shelf expired calcium carbonate, antacid, Pepto-Bismol, aspirin, Tylenol, multivitamin, little bottle candies, breaking fevers and burning heartache, all over the counter, all over this body. The sweat shivers and dry mouth are exactly what I'm on. And I'm on the dot where I'm drawn and quartered and nickeled and dimed daily, hourly, salary, full-time, back to hourly, contract, part-time, attention. It's time to clock in for your page bottom Panopticon Smile performance review. Do I deserve to live? Yes or no? Unsteady. Spam dreaming of finally seeing what's going on past the place where my nose ends. Next one shorter, I promise. I had originally planned to just read that one. This is a bit of an older one, but I was speaking with a friend of mine recently about Cuba. I'm half Cuban, my father's from Cuba. I grew up in Hialeah. I don't speak Spanish. You can imagine how goes. But I feel that one of my tasks in poetry for myself is to find some connection with my heritage and explore those intricacies. But one thing I decided to do for fun was do some kind of myth making about my dad's father, people. So this one is called My People. He had hoofs in his boots and cured leather skin, stropped skin for sharpening his machete, my people. He couldn't read a book, but he could smell the rain 3 days before it came home to his palm-thatched roof, my people. He could converse on the finer points of the medicinal properties of goats with the dogs that he trained to have table manners, my people. He could surf on the back of a horse and never lose his straw hat to the revolutionary wind contesting his crown in tobacco fields, my people. He could catch a catfish from a freshly grown storm puddle with only his feet and beat it in a staring contest before the fry, my people. He could hatch 2 chicklets from any one egg, know them apart by name, by the pitch of their chirps, and teach them to make his children smile, my people. He could stroll through the streets of Havana and break into a wild chase to catch a purse thief, stopping to whistle at ladies and still saving the day, my people. He could labor in a concentration camp for months on end to earn his family's way to America and fly them all like a lax bird to the prized land just over the horizon, my people. He could drive a purple Barracuda like they could never make today, cutting out the seatbelts to fit the free fashion of the Americans, my people. He could shack up with 2, 10, 20 women, light, dark, short, tall, fathering generations like a prized bull or Abraham, my people. He could forget that this was America, bringing us sweetness and sugarcane in his classic truck with no reverse gear, no home to go back to, my people. He could look with disdain on $20 cigars and barter for authentic things in backwoods and lightly gnaw on his cigar the whole day through, never quite reaching their ends despite how they shrunk, my people. He could still leap fences and amaze with one-handed chin-ups at 80 years old. And when he left us one day, we knew he was still alive, because Guajiros never stop, and they'll never wait to die, my people.